Exploring Stories, a short introduction to Wendigos. Have you ever found yourself lost in thought, dreaming of different scenarios and how you'd react in them? I know that's vague, so let's get a little more direct. I know I found myself thinking about how I'd react in extreme situations like surviving a zombie apocalypse. What would I do in the next world war? Or what about an alien invasion? Silly things like that. But have you ever thought of yourself in those extreme situations? How far would you go to save yourself? Would you hurt your fellow man? Would you betray them? Would you turn away someone in need, save them, or even use them to secure some power, safety, or for your own hunger? The act of cannibalism is found across a vast majority of animals and across different species, such as sharks, hamsters, spiders, apes, lizards, and humans. Cannibalism is not a thing that is exclusive to only a certain region, race, or ethnicity. It is a tale as old as humanity itself. Plane crash in the cold mountains with no food, shipwrecked on a deserted island, lost at sea for months on end. We've all heard of a dozen stories of humans choosing survival over morals. I mean, I can't blame them. What do? Die? Eat the weak or the dead? It's a catch-22. Do you throw away your humanity to live for another day, or do the opposite, die to save your humanity? That being said, getting into today's video, Wendigo. The concept of Wendigos is extremely old, being passed down through thousands of years of oral storytelling among the indigenous people of Canada as well as the American groups, such as the Algonquins, Cree, Ojibwe, Saulteaux, Naskapi, and the Inus. However, Wendigo folklore across all of those people aren't always the same, so let's really focus mostly on the Algonquins versions. For them, a Wendigo is a human who is possessed by a malevolent spirit in its weakest moments. It will cause a victim to feel insatiable hunger. This hunger is never truly satisfied. Imagine feeling thirsty, taking a drink, and you're only thirstier. And every time you keep drinking, you're only thirstier. It always causes them to search for more. The concept of Wendigos is often associated with the concepts of famine and gluttony, as well as them being found within cold, lonely, and forested areas. Wendigos are described as decrepitly skinny, with its desiccated skin appearing tight on its longer than normal arms and legs. Its bones are pushing outwards against its skin, such as an extremely starved human. It appears as an ashy, gray complex with deep dark eyes. Its features, such as ears, lips, nose, are rotten and decaying. When a Wendigo is nearby, it is often said there is a strong odor of decay and death. They continue to possess a human ability to speak and will attempt to lure or taunt its victims. You can find countless stories online of people claiming they've been out at night alone in a wooded area in which they began to smell death, decay, or even some people describing the smell of copper. Sometimes you'll even see something moving nearby, such as tree branches moving and brush. Next, people will report a cry or a whimper for help coming from somewhere deeper in the woods, often mimicking their voice or a family member's voice. But that voice is never right. It's not human. It's broken, trying to mimic human speech. Dating back to 1661 in the Jesuit missionary report in France, which was a missionary update on their attempted conversion of indigenous people to Christianity, they recounted the following report of a mass death attributed to a Wendigo. I'll read it verbatim. What caused us great concern was the news that met us upon entering the lake, namely that the men deputed by our conductor for the purpose of summoning the nations to the North Sea and assigning them a rendezvous where they were to wait our coming had met their death the previous winter in a very strange manner. Those poor men, according to the reports given to us, were seized by an ailment unknown to us, but not very unusual among the people we were seeking. They are afflicted with neither lunacy, hypochondria, nor frenzy, but have a combination of all these species of disease, which affects their imagination and causes them more than canine hunger. This makes them so ravenous for human flesh that they'll pounce upon a woman, a child, and even upon a man, like veritable werewolves, and devour them voraciously, without being able to appease or glut their appetite, ever seeking fresh prey, and the more greedily the more they eat. This ailment attacked our deputies, and as death is the sole remedy among the more simple people for checking such acts of murder, they were slain in order to stay the course of their madness. So, a quick TLDR, the French sent missionaries to go bother the indigenous people, and they came back the next winter, and the French's own people who were a part of the mission, as well as the indigenous people, were like, damn, we got taken over by spirit, and we ate each other, and it was really bad, and we killed the people who were doing it, so now we're good. Alright, moving on. In modern psychiatry, the aforementioned story I just spoke about is referred to as Wendigo psychosis. It is categorized as a culture-bound syndrome or folk illness. Without getting too specific here, because I'm not a doctor, I'm just a really, really handsome guy speaking to you, I'm going to tell you how I interpret this. I interpret this to mean someone who hears, knows, and believes in something will become that thing if they do it. For example, I'll become a spooky, scary, mean Wendigo who eats people if I decide to consume human flesh during a great famine period. Kind of like mass hysteria. For example, there was the dancing plague in 1518 in which roughly 400 people danced themselves to death and could not stop dancing in the streets of Alsace, which is located in modern-day France. This is a real story. You can look it up for yourself. It's well documented. No explanation was really ever given, other than basically humans are super weird, and sometimes we do weird things for no reasons, which can lead us to our death, also known as psychosis. Okay, that brings us to the end of this video. To summarize for you, what is a Wendigo? A Wendigo to me is a cautionary tale to not cannibalize your fellow man, even in the worst times. Just like you'd hear from your parents to make sure to eat all your vegetables or Santa's going to be really mad. That being said, if you're really into cryptids, thank you very much for listening to the end of this video. Personally, myself, when I was younger, I did believe in Wendigos, but now as I get older, I kind of see them more as a story or, like I said, a cautionary tale not to do something. If you're still here, please consider subscribing, leaving a like, and if you prefer me doing kind of a little bit different than just the SCP stuff, please let me know down in the comments. I love to do different content. I just want to feel and know what you guys enjoy. Thank you once again, and have a great rest of your night.